want to welcome everybody. I do need my glasses. That was kind of small. But Delinda, I wanted to welcome you today and say hi to everybody. And we're going to go ahead and get started today. I am here from my living room in Pasadena, California. It actually is a pretty chilly day today. It's overcast and it's probably in the low 60s. And I did ask my assistant, Tori West, Tori, should I turn the gas on in the fireplace? And we never got to it because I think it's still a little bit warm out. But I want to welcome everyone. I am here from my living room in Pasadena, California, with a special guest with me this week for a Fireside Chat. And as many as you know, I own a boutique residential real estate practice in Pasadena. I've been practicing for over 20 years and really love supporting and protecting our sellers and our buyers, especially in this crazy, crazy market. And I can't wait to talk to Delinda Crampton about the Las Vegas market and to get all your questions answered about what the heck is going on and how can we buy a house in Nevada right now. One of my favorite parts of my job is really bringing people together and serving as a trusted advisor to my network. And I'm sure, Delinda, with you as well. I started really hosting these fireside chats as a way really to make connections and to bring value to my network and sphere and to really, the public. And one of the best things is about what I do is having the opportunity to develop these amazing friendships. And Delinda Crampton is one of my friends, and she is a leading residential realtor in the Las Vegas market, working at Berkshire Hathaway, leading a team and just really crushing it in Las Vegas. And Delinda, I so miss seeing you. And I'm going to let me
Likewise.
change the view so we can be like this. Yay. And I can see you.
Yay.
And so let's see, I do have an agenda, that I am
All right.
with. So, really every other week I am hosting these fireside chats. And what I think is really exciting and what brings a lot of value to our friends and our colleagues is the fact that both you and I know thousands of friends across the nation and some of the leading realtors, and being able to understand what's going on through the nation, how our markets are being impacted, especially through coronavirus. And again, I was just telling someone today, I was like, you know what? I really feel like even just in the last few weeks, I've had to pivot my entire business. Things are just, inventory's dwindling. And
Definitely was one of the words of the year, I feel like, for 2020. I started using it because I was like, oh my gosh, this perfectly describes. And then in the months following, I just started hearing that used everywhere.
Exactly.
But yeah, I like that word so much better than unprecedented. I swear if I hear unprecedented one more time.
I know, exactly. And I'm going to add you and I as a spotlight, and then people are asking to come in. So let me just have them come in. Two people are in the waiting room, so hold on one sec. Where's the waiting room? I just saw the waiting room.
You can see where it's
there. We go. Okay, so let me go ahead and add them in. Okay, and
all right.
Go ahead and close that out. Okay, so wonderful. Welcome, Tina, and we have another individual here. So I'm so glad that you are here. So really, every other week, I've been doing these fireside chats to really answer questions. So far, we really, in general, have discussed the 2021 real estate market, which was fantastic. We did that with some lender friends of mine, and that was wonderful. We had a really great response. A couple weeks ago, I also did another fireside chat as well with a leading commercial broker that really specializes in just multifamily sales and purchases, and that was great. We had a commercial lender there as well. And this week, I want to introduce you everyone who has just joined, and I'm making sure everybody's on. Delinda Crampton, who I met. Gosh, Delinda, how long have you and I been friends?
The network that we're both a part of, I've been in for 17 years, and I feel like I met you early on in those days. So probably 15 years now.
I think so. I think it's been about 15, and I know I just got like something from Brian Buffini thanking me for just years and years and years of being part of the group. And so that's how long we go back. And as I have traveled to Vegas for different conferences, I will get, Delinda and I would get together and chat in person, and she's come down here and visited. So Delinda Crampton is my number one realtor friend in Vegas. And so, the Vegas market, I know, has got to be red hot right now. And I really wanted to invite you here to really talk about your experiences right now in the market. And one of the things that I know that is coming up a lot, that we talk a lot about is, this mass exodus, number one, from California, which I'm not sure is really the truth, because I just pulled the March numbers for LA County for 2021. And instead of looking at it for LA to comparing it to 2020, I just went back to 2019 thinking, oh my gosh, that will be, really just a much better market to evaluate and compare it to. And our inventory here is down 43%. And the sales are up almost 35%. So I don't think I'm not feeling any kind of mass exodus at all right now. I think we're all just hunkering in and just.
Well, and I was to say, people are talking about the mass exodus, which I personally am actually seeing, and yet your homes there are selling with multiple offers and in a heartbeat as well. Because stories from my California clients when they go to sell their home and then move here. I got a recent one we just closed today on their house here. And I think they had, oh my gosh, close to 60 offers. Now the realtor kept it on the market for the entire weekend. But that's a tremendous number of offers.
It's really crazy right now, but I would love to talk to you about your story firstly.
Sure.
And I'd like to know, I know it's 5:37 and we really want to move through our questions, but I do want you to share, especially being a leader and being a woman and being a mom and a wife and just really crushing it year after year, Delinda. Just share a little bit about your story, and can you walk us through it and share a little bit about how you got into real estate?
Yeah, absolutely. There definitely is a story to that. I moved to Vegas back in '98, and at the time I was working in television news, ended up having a 12-year career in that. And after I had been here, I was newly married. I met my husband out here, ended up getting married back in 2002. And in 2003, I was just seeing what was going on in our real estate market here. And I told him, I said, I would love to do some investing. I just see the opportunity. And he said, if you want to do that, why don't you go to real estate school and get your license so you can keep your commission? And nowadays I laugh because I'm like, okay, that's really not the reason to go get your real estate license. But that's what I did. And about halfway through real estate school, I started thinking about, the day that someday we would have kids, and, this could be something that could replace my TV income and yet give us the flexibility to where I could make the school performances and the T-ball games and all that. And so I ended up making the leap. And little did I know, I enjoyed the TV business, but I was at the point where I was stagnating and I had held every position I wanted to. And I went from something I enjoyed to falling into my passion. So I feel so blessed because I had no idea this would be my passion. And I can pull into the driveway and look at my watch and go, oh, I just worked a 16-hour day, and feel as fresh as when I left that morning because I love what I do.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I really love it. And it comes through. And I feel similar. It takes, we wear many, many hats as a small.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
And, there's a lot of intimacy in helping people at times of their lives. Moving, number one, is already rated one of the top stressors in life. But when you layer it in with a divorce or a relocation or a job loss or a death, it really accentuates the situation. And so I'm glad. I appreciate you sharing that with me. I talked about just the numbers for LA. And of course, we have the people that are moving we have statistics from U-Haul, and in fact, we just ran. We went on the U-Haul website just to see what states are really ranked by migration. And let's see, Nevada was out of all the states number 8. Last year it was number 24. So this year it's number 8.
We're
Tennessee,
moving up in this world.
Tennessee, Texas, Florida, Ohio, Nevada, number 8. So you're one of the, and I guess where California is. Yeah. I think we're at the bottom. Did we see that number?
50.
Oh my God. Wow. 50.
Wow, you are.
Yikes. Yikes. So I would love our viewers because we're all thinking about, even though maybe right now we have a very low inventory,
Right.
and sales are up. I'm just stating for LA County. But I got to tell you, one of the things that I know really is going on, and probably all over the nation, is with our families, we're really talking about, are we happy where we live? Are we happy with our lifestyle? Can we afford to live here the way that we, like to live and where we like to spend our money? And oh, hi, your son is here.
I knew I told you he'd probably peek.
I'm so glad you popped in. At first I thought it was Tori. No.
They love coming in on my Zooms. So this is my 11-year-old Dylan, my little red.
Hi, Dylan. So, yeah. So what is it about Las Vegas that makes it such a great place to live? Because
Yes.
I was saying that I think a lot of us are thinking about our lives. And even though many of us haven't made the actual decision to move, or, we might be a little bit of afraid, to move from the comfort of where we are now. But we're all talking about it behind closed doors. So if we might not be seeing it in action right now, we certainly are talking about it. And I would love to know, why should our viewers move to Las Vegas or consider Las Vegas?
Right. Well, I think there are so many wonderful things. I actually was a transplant here from Florida. And when I came, my original thought was I'm going to work my 2-year contract and work my way back east. And look at me, how many years later now? 23 late years later, and I'm still here. So I exceeded that by 21 years, the plan. And, one of the first reasons people pick here is we actually have great weather. If you can make it through July and August, and the dry heat, I will tell you, coming from Florida, truly is much better than humidity, much more bearable. But I don't miss the bugs. I don't miss how flat it was there. Just the green, just a little bit of the green. But, the desert has a beauty of its own. And, our spring and our fall is just gorgeous. We have very mild winters. Another reason a lot of people come here is cost of living is so much less. When you look at, for example, just the difference on with California with gas prices, with food expenses, when you go to the grocery store, on menus, we see the difference. And then, of course, taxes. So we are one of the few tax-free states in the country. And so we get a lot of people relocating here from California for that. Now, on top of those things, we do have fabulous communities. We've got, master plan communities. We've got all kinds of parks. In fact, I think we are one of the places in the country with the most parks, believe it or not. And another thing is that we have great, if you love food, good food, we've got all kinds of top chefs. We've got a Michelin restaurant, at least one here in town, Michelin star rated. And, we used to be known for the, 99-cent shrimp cocktails. Now we're known for our restaurants. If you like entertainment, there's constantly big names coming through on top of all the shows that the casinos offer. And I love that there are so many great things within a short drive. You can go snow skiing up at Mount Charleston, 45 minutes away. You can go hiking at Red Rock State Park, gorgeous, half-hour away. You can go down and go boating down at Lake Mead. You can go to the beaches of LA in just 3 hours. You can go up to Zion and Bryce National Parks in just a few hours. You've got Bryan Head for skiing up there. And you're surrounded by mountains, so you have that beauty. There's just so much
Oh my gosh. Yeah, it sounds great. It's almost like how I feel about LA. Like you
Oh,
are,
really?
5
Yeah.
hours from Mammoth, just an hour from the beach, just 3 hours to you.
Mm-hmm.
Then from drove my daughter out to Phoenix and Tucson, and I had never driven it, and I couldn't believe, like, wow, 5 hours. I was like in a completely
Yeah.
different environment, and I know it's so much hotter there. So I love that you brought up, the weather. And I have been in Vegas. I think one time I was visiting you in the winter, and it was
Mhm.
darn cold. I mean, does get cold there, much
Yeah,
colder
I mean, we can get down to freezing at night.
here.
Doesn't happen that often. And typically in the winter, like we have a high in the 60s, low 60s.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing I forgot to mention is shopping. Like you
Oh,
name
yeah.
the high-end stores, the casinos have them. The most discriminating shoppers would love Vegas.
Well, you've got, you know, outdoor activities, you've got great shopping, sophistication with
Mhm.
restaurants, obviously entertainment, and
Yep.
so close to
Hiking,
LA.
hiking, boating, skiing.
Yeah,
Like
I love that. Okay, I might think about moving there.
I'm like, you might want to move here
I
now.
might. Hey, and listen, this is our lives. We have the choice.
Yeah.
We're not. None of us are stuck where we're at. We think we are, but
Hmm.
we have the power to live whatever kind of life we want, and what we want to have in it, we can have. And I think that's one thing that this pandemic is teaching us, is letting us the opportunity to slow down and to think about what kind of life we all want to create.
Yeah,
Oh,
and we have people moving here because they can work remotely now
yeah,
too.
absolutely. So are you seeing many Californians move there?
Oh, about 25% of my business.
Well,
Yes.
and listen, you all, I got to tell you, Delinda, how many units or how many families did you help last year?
We helped 143 families.
143. You all, that's a big number. That is a big number. So congratulations on
Thank you.
that. Really, congratulations.
Very rewarding.
Yeah, yeah. So what are most of your buyers' reasons for relocating when that 25%, why are they coming to Vegas?
I would say the number one thing that I hear is cost of living,
Hmm.
and they want to get away from the high taxes.
Hmm. What is your median right now price in the county?
Right. So our average sales price is 363,000. I'm sorry, our median is 363,000.
Okay, stop. 363.
363, that's median.
Ours, let me just tell you ours, 363. Ours is 770 for the county. And
Yeah,
that's
so you're double.
4%.
Just about. Yeah. And then our average is 456,000. So that's higher.
Okay. So about 446, and ours is about 770. And listen, our median for Pasadena is 883. 883,000.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's amazing. So your median price is about half of what we are here in LA. And that's the
Right.
number one reason why they're moving there?
That is the number one reason I hear. And then some people are saying they don't like what they're seeing happening politically. I would say that's the second thing that I hear.
Okay. All right. Okay. What is your experience with the market right now? What's going on in the market?
Right. So right now it's a seller's market like across most of the country. We have 0.6 month supply of homes, so just over 2 weeks supply. And so, I mean, multiple offers, home selling in a day to 3 days. If it's on the market longer than a week, you're like, okay, why isn't it sold? A lot of homes are overpriced. The average is about 50,000 on the overpricing. But now, because of the appreciation, it's catching up to the overpricing.
Mm-hmm.
Last month, our median sales price appreciated 2.66%, so almost 3% in 1 month. And as you know, a normal appreciation year over year is 3 to 6%.
Mm-hmm.
So almost an entire year's appreciation in 1 month there.
Unbelievable. That's crazy. I can't believe a 2 week supply. I'm sure we have price points right now in our market for LA and for Pasadena that is like that. But Los Angeles for this past March was 1.1 months supply, and Pasadena was 1.4 months.
Okay, so you've got a little more
How
selection.
does that work with offers in your marketplace? Are sellers just looking at offers as they come in, or are they setting a date to review them?
What I like to do is, because more people can look at homes on the weekends than the weekday, is put my home on the market on either a Wednesday or Thursday, and then just say that we'll review offers on Monday. So that gives my client the best chance to get the very highest and best offer. And
Okay.
then Monday, if there's one outstanding one, then we're going to go with that. If there's a few at the top, then I'll start working those offers and do the bidding war and get my client the most I can that way.
So a best and final in that case?
Yeah, sometimes I'll give them, till the next day at a certain time or the end of that day at a certain time. Other times I just pick up and I'm just calling between them all.
Oh, and just see who will do what, and then
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
if there's a shining star, the sellers will feel comfortable going with that one.
Mm-hmm.
What
Yeah.
other terms are usually important in that market, or trends that you're seeing where
Yeah.
contenders
So
and stuff?
yeah, great question. One that is really big right now is sellers are very concerned about selling their home and then not having a place to go to. And so I very often will negotiate for them to do a rent back. And I negotiate it typically not at market value, but if the buyer has a mortgage, whatever the equivalent of their mortgage payment is, because that saves them a lot.
Mhm.
It's a cash buyer, I try just to negotiate a discounted rent. Sometimes the buyer is willing to let you stay free for a month because that will, because they're competing and they want to do whatever they can to get their buyer that home.
Mhm.
We're
Mhm.
also seeing a lot of, we're selling them well above appraised value in most cases. And so we've got buyers that are coming in and saying, "Hey, I'll pay the difference if it doesn't appraise," or they'll say, "Hey, I'll pay 10,000 difference towards appraisal difference or whatever."
Mhm.
I've got one that I just put in a contract recently that I sold for 63,000 over list price, which you in California doesn't sound like a lot, but when you look at Vegas prices, if you've got a home that's 450,000 and you're selling at 63,000 over asking, well, that's a large percentage of
Mhm.
that sales price.
Yeah, yeah, some of ours are really crazy, 100, 200 over asking, but
Mhm.
also I don't think we're doing as good of a job setting the price. I mean, obviously a good job because they're generating a lot of interest, but the buyers, you know, we know that the house is not that value, that it's much, much higher. But it's garnering the interest, of course, of the marketplace with such a low starting price. How has the pandemic impacted the Vegas market?
Mhm. So, we kept selling even during the quarantine. We were considered an essential service, so we could still go out. I changed my open houses to virtual. And so I would do a FaceTime live. We'd advertise it. I'd do it like Saturday, 10 a.m. was when I found was a really good time when people could watch it. And then also we're doing a lot of FaceTime showings with our clients because, those that weren't comfortable with going in. And, a lot of people thought, oh, homes aren't going to sell, it's during a quarantine, but we were putting 2 a week into contract even during that month of quarantine. But once we came out of that, that's when we really, saw a pickup in the selling activity. Another thing that we did was we started doing the 3D virtual tours where you would see a dollhouse view of the home and then it would fly in and you could walk from room to room and look up, down, left, right, just like you were in the room.
Mhm,
So
mhm.
special photography too.
Yeah, I love that. I love how you pivoted really very quickly. It has been
Mhm.
interesting as we've been talking about, like, hey, I would say, Delinda, what's going on in your market? I'm just so curious because California, here, I'm still not, able to conduct an open house. And the brokers, I even told a client today, she said, what did you think of that house? We hadn't seen it yet. What did you think? And I said, I'm not looking at property like I used to. I see it online. I tour it online. Sometimes I can get in, but really the only people that are getting in are, really qualified buyers ready to possibly make an offer on a property. So I cannot tell everyone how much I cannot wait to start the open houses again and to
Mhm.
really get that, going and give that confidence to those neighbors and to allow an opportunity to really expose, our properties in that way and develop those, relationships as we're listing homes in these neighborhoods. So, so I think it is very interesting how Nevada has, approached this and allowed. You've been doing open houses for quite some time now. When did you open back up for open houses?
So as far as physically entering
Yeah.
the house wise, about 2 months ago,
Oh,
and maybe a little bit more. And I did an open house the second weekend we could have open houses, and the turnout was hardly anything. And so it's taken a little while for people to feel comfortable going to them.
yeah.
But now with homes selling so quickly, you're not seeing that many open houses because, like, I have realtors even from other companies calling me saying, hey, can I sit in open house at your listing? But typically, I'm like, oh, we already have offers. Like,
Don't need to. Yeah. Yeah. So what does an open house, the ones you've done, what does that look like now?
Right. Great question. So I'll have masks available, booties available, hand sanitizer available. The rule is that they have to wear a mask in the house.
Mhm. Okay. And are masks required in Nevada right now?
So we still do have a mask mandate. Um, sometimes I go on appointments, they're like, oh, you don't need to wear your mask kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Technically, like, you see the signs when you go into the restaurants and the stores and all that.
All right.
I was just in Florida this past weekend where they've dropped the mask mandate, and went to church with my parents, and I was looking around and there was hardly anyone with a mask on. And it just, after a year and a half of masks, I was just like, wow.
I know.
What a different feel.
I know. It's going to take some getting used to if that ever, I'm not sure in California if that, I don't
Right.
happen.
I think you have the strictest state and the strictest government, although I heard some stories from New Jersey too, that they're super strict there.
Yeah, well, that's good. That's good. So, what other things should someone consider if they're interested in relocating to Las Vegas that we haven't maybe talked about?
That is a good question. So one thing they should consider is, because homes are selling so quickly, what I recommend is, if they see something online that their realtor has sent them, is have them go right away and FaceTime them. There's a lot of agents like me. I'm like, I don't want to put something in a contract and fall out. So I want to know that they've seen the house. So have them go FaceTime, and then go ahead and don't wait to write the offer, because you'll miss it if you do. Most likely is get the offer in and then come during the inspection period, which is usually 7 to 10 days. It's called due diligence. And you can back out during that time and get your earnest money back and cancel without penalty. So that's what I recommend for my out-of-state clients.
Okay, so really getting your agent, making sure they get in there right when the listing comes on, doing the tour, and just making sure that you've actually seen it before the offer comes in. So, okay, terrific. Is it okay? Are you guys accepting offers where the actual buyer hasn't been physically in the property? Yeah.
I've done some where, as long as I know that the realtor has FaceTimed their client, and they can vouch for their client that they're very comfortable with this, they're not going to back out, they're a very strong buyer, they very much want this house.
Okay, terrific. And when you're evaluating the offers that are coming in, especially coming in for Californians that see, obviously a lot of value and it's a much lower price point, what kind of offer package, do stand out to you when you're presenting to a seller?
Mm-hmm. Of course, if I see a cash offer, we love cash offers. So even sometimes still today, it's getting pretty rare because of the seller's market, but you'll hear a buyer go, but I'm a cash buyer, so they want a low ball. But in this market, most sellers are all about the total money they're going to walk away with, not the fact that it's cash.
Yeah.
So I would say, give the seller flexible terms. When it comes to a move out date, that's super important right now. When I'm evaluating offers, I am looking at the financial strength of the offer. Say if I'm not looking at cash and I'm just looking at loans, who's putting down more money. That you can make terms that are very appealing to the seller. Maybe you offer to pay a couple of things that might be a seller expense typically, such as like an HOA transfer fee, some of the HOA fees, the transfer tax that goes to the Clark County. The seller pays $5.10 on every $1,000 of the sale. That can be very appealing because that's going to put a couple thousand at least more into the seller's pocket. Ask for a home warranty or offer to pay it yourself.
Yeah.
And then, I'm looking at if the offer comes in and already says they're willing to pay the appraisal difference. And then, even if you're not cash, if you can send in some proof of funds showing that you've got the money to pay the appraisal difference, your down payment, have your loan fully underwritten versus just a pre-approval, because that way we know all they need is do the title search, get the contract, get the title insurance, and they're ready to close an appraisal.
Yeah, I love that. So looking at all those details, that's sort of
it's all in the terms too that determines the strength of an offer.
Exactly. Out of curiosity, Delinda, when you have families that are leaving, what is compelling them to leave Vegas? Why and where are they going?
So we are getting some that are relocating to be closer to family. We're getting people that are moving away to be near grandkids too. My next door neighbor, I'm just so heartbroken. I just had to list her home, and she's moving away because she realized with COVID that, their kids are like, college age. And then there's one that's my 11-year-old age, but she's like, you know what? COVID made me realize I want to be near my family. So she's a retiree. I mean, she's a teacher. She's younger than me, but so, you get a little bit of everything, some job relocations, that kind of thing too. But
no, I have some
driver I'm seeing is family.
Yeah, family. I'm seeing that really too. I had one client when I asked her, why she was thinking about moving, and she's a dear friend of mine, and she goes, I have, counted 236 dinners I've eaten alone.
Oh.
And that's why I'm moving, just to be closer to my son and my daughter-in-law. And I really don't have an interest of making it 237. I really,
that's perspective.
Yeah. I thought, yeah, gosh, true. Life is so short. And so really rethinking. So, okay, well, that's great. Well, what haven't we talked about? I know we had all our questions, just wondering.
Let me look at the list here.
We do have a question on Facebook.
Oh, great.
So let me tell you what that is. Are you seeing more owner-occupied investors coming from California?
Oh, so owner-occupied or investors. Which one am I seeing more of?
Yep. Let's see. Are you seeing more owner-occupied or investors from California?
Great question.
Thank you, Lori, for joining us.
Yes, I am seeing more owner-occupied. There's a lot of investors that are saying there's a huge foreclosure market coming. And, honestly, I don't think there is. I think that for several reasons. I had investors last year tell me that, it's going to be a foreclosure market by the end of the year. The end of the year is come and gone, and we're so low on inventory that it's going to keep us strong. And even if we did get more homes, they're just going to be gobbled up. And if they're priced low, it's going to be brought right back up to market value. We have so little homes. And I just don't think, we're going to have a foreclosure market because people have equity in their homes. This is one of the differences versus last time when our market crashed. We had people that just walked away. They had no skin in the game. People now have money. Why would they walk away from that? So even if they priced it low for a fire sale, I mean, we'd have to get 15,000. Okay, so we're selling about 3,000 homes a month, give or take. We'd have to have 15,000 homes come on the market in just 1 month to get us to a balanced market, not even a buyer's market. Last month, we got only 800 homes on the market. So that just kind of gives a little perspective. We do have investors that are coming in and investing. I have some that I'm working with right now. We also have investors that have this little formula they learned in investment school. And so it has to be at least 20% below market value. You're just not really going to find that. That is the needle in the haystack right now. But investors that are willing to come in and pay market value because they're looking at cash flow that is much higher here than it is in California. I have some California investors for that reason. And then they're also looking at the long-term appreciation as well. But I would say that for every, probably for every 10 clients from California, at least 8 of them are primary homeowner versus investor.
And what other states are you seeing people relocate from?
I'm seeing, coming here from Texas, Arizona.
Uh-huh.
I can tell you much more where I see them going to as well. But I know, but I would say that's where I'm seeing the majority that are relocating here. Oh, also from Washington and Oregon. We get a good number of relos from there.
Yeah.
Of course, obviously, California is our biggest state we're getting them from. And the main areas for us are from the Bay Area and from LA, Orange County, and San Diego.
Yeah.
Those are like the main markets they're coming here from.
Wonderful. And before we wrap up, I was just even curious myself, on the Strip, are all the hotels open? Is there live entertainment occurring?
Yeah, they're mostly all open right now. Some are only open on the weekends. Some had opened up 7 days a week and then went down to weekends. As far as entertainment, there are some smaller single performers that are out there, but none of the Cirque shows yet. MGM had opened up some of the big shows and Carrot Top and some of these others. And then after a month or less, they shut them back down. But what I will tell you is we have had a huge surge in return to the Strip. The flights coming in now are all full. The airport is back and super busy. And they, like when you go down to the Strip now, like for a while there, you wouldn't even have like people on the street corners waiting to cross the street. Now we're getting the throngs of people again. And it was, which show was it? Trying to remember. It was one of the recent convention shows that, I'm sorry. It was the basketball tournament. That's what brought the start of the influx of people coming back to the Strip. That brought a ton of people, and it hasn't slowed since that.
Yeah. Oh, thank God.
It's encouraging. It's great to see.
It is encouraging. And, we are in this, this very unusual time right now. And I think you really hit the nail on the head as well. I mean, nationwide, there's just not enough homes available. And this for our state and for California has, affordability is one of our greatest issues and very, very difficult. So many amazing families that really deserve to have a piece of the American dream. All of us do. And this is a real challenging time, but this too shall pass, and inventory will hopefully increase, and we will move forward and hopefully be able to get all these wonderful buyers into homes in areas of the United States where they would love to live out their lives. So Delinda, this has been fantastic.
Yes, Cynthia, thank you.
Is there anything else you want to share with the viewers today?
I think you did a great job covering it all.
Okay, well, terrific. If anyone on this call would like to get a hold of you and learn more about the Las Vegas market and to connect and maybe come up and take a look, how should they get a hold of you?
So, our website, easy way to put it out there, is cramptonteam.com. My cell is the best way to reach me. It's 702-219-3144, 702-219-3144, or you can email me at delindacrampton@gmail.com.
That's fantastic. And if any of you didn't catch that, just reach out to me and let me know. I'll be happy to share Delinda's information with you so you can connect with her. I know as I am talking to a lot of people who are evaluating their lives, one of the things that holds them back from taking action is fear and really the unknown. And one of the things that I think is helpful for anyone listening on this call that might be thinking about making a change in their life and they don't know how to go about doing it. And maybe the Las Vegas market is one area of the United States they are evaluating. One thing that you can do, especially like, let's say you're just in LA, is just take a drive up to Las Vegas and maybe reach out to Delinda and say, I'm coming up. I'd like to just do a drive around and get a feel for what it would like to live here. And either you could go out with her or she could just give you a short little itinerary and you can buzz around on your own. But really to get out and to start looking in these areas that of interest and get a feel for what they're like, because there's many amazing places in the US where you could live your best life, and Las Vegas could absolutely be one of them. So Delinda, thank you so much for joining me. You are a very dear friend of mine, and I'm so excited and for you and all your successes that you've had and the team that you've built in that marketplace. And it's really extraordinary. And I look up to you, and I'm so feel really blessed just to have you in my life. So thank you for sharing this
Likewise.
today and on the Vegas market. And if if this information really piqued your interest in any way, please don't even worry about reaching out to me via email or phone. I can be reached at 626-818-2577 on my cell, or my business line at 626-714-6808, or cynthiacohn.com. And I'll be following up with an email of information. And I know Delinda is more than happy to answer any questions that you may have about the Vegas market. She really is a treasure trove of valuable information. So thank you again for joining us on this Fireside Chat. I will be back with the Mr. Phil Barbaro in 2 weeks. I think we're going to do it on May 5th. And he's going to be here talking about estate planning 101, how you can best protect some of your most valuable assets, like your home, and ensuring that your children are protected. So I hope you can make it. And thank you, everybody. My name is Cynthia Cohn with Cynthia Cohn and Associates in Pasadena, California. Thank you so much for being our guest today. Thanks, Delinda.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us.
Have a great evening.